What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to your $15,000 EIDL grant and 24 months of working capital update. It is Tuesday, 12/21/21. Please do me a huge favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and you can always find me over on Twitter at Try Small Biz, username Small Biz. The name of the website and mobile app that we are going to be launching in January to help grow your small biz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost Christmas time here in the United States. Merry Christmas to you, happy holidays, or whatever the fuck you celebrate in your neck of the woods. I hope everybody's doing well. I think it's been 9 or 10 days. I've been working hard to wrap up the year and get this website ready. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Some of you are going to make 5, 10, 20, 100 times on your money. And speaking of your money, there is going to be a money-back guarantee that if you are not satisfied with the job that this Dallas Cowboy fanatic does, I'll give all of your money back with no questions asked. You aren't going to find anything like this anywhere. And speaking of anywhere, is it really true that I gave out 4 stock picks, including a few losers, 4 stock picks in the biotech sector that have netted investors over on Twitter 321% in less than a month? Oh, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, gigantic bottle of water. Here we go. I will talk about the stock market in the second half of the video. So if you're like most of my Twitter followers and you really don't give a fuck about the stock market, or so it seems, just stick with me over the course of the next 5 to 7 minutes as I summarize what I have been saying now for, 18 months. Shout out to Ryder over at Skip. I believe he is the only one left other than myself that are still doing videos with respect to EIDL. Most people have gone on to crypto or small business or semi-news shows, which are very entertaining in many cases. My job in the new year is going to be twofold. Create a website and soon-to-be mobile app that will help grow your small business by raising awareness and giving you an opportunity to connect with hundreds and soon-to-be thousands and tens of thousands of small business owners all over this country, and to get you the love and fucking respect that you deserve in somewhere we call Washington, D.C. with respect to small business owners. Because in case you're just joining us or you haven't been listening to me now for almost 2 years, we got another scam call coming in. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Should have had it in airplane mode. We do not edit around here. So all our mistakes, and I make plenty of them, stay in. So where the hell was I? Senior moment, I'm 51, soon to be 52 years old. By the way, anybody notice I'm a little leaner? Yeah, I trimmed up the beard, but I've lost almost 9 or 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks, cutting out processed food, reducing my alcohol and sugar intake, because I got to be in shape. I got to be in shape to grow your small biz. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have the Small Biz Cruise, the Small Biz Podcast. I'm going to create a P.O. box for those of you that sell products that you want to send to me so I can hold them up on the air. I'm going to get a studio, a 4K camera, and yes, the Dallas Cowboys are going to meet the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion, in the Super Bowl, but we got to get past those Green Bay Packers and somebody we call Aaron Rodgers. But with respect, sorry, Bucks, decimated. Godwin's out, Fournette's hurt, Brady looked like shit. Not their year. Love you, Speak and See. Big Tampa fan, Speak and See, a guy who was in the weeds with us for over a year. But this is the Dallas Cowboys, especially that defense. Dak's got to get it together. All right, speaking of get it together, Jason. You have about 10 days to get your EIDL grant and or loan money. However, if you're stuck in reconsideration, you can go well into next year and you still have 2 full years to get your EIDL increase on the loan up to $2 million. So if you got a loan of, say, $300,000 last year, you can get up to $1.7 million a year from now. So don't worry. If you're stuck in reconsideration, you've got plenty of time. If you're in reevaluation for the targeted or the supplemental advance, you still have time. And you have, as I said, 2 full years from the date of your initial EIDL loan to get the increase up to $2 million. What is the formula? gross revenue in 2019 minus your cost of goods or services times 2. And don't forget to subtract whatever loan amount you got last year. However, and this is a big however, and you've seen it in the comments, I encourage everybody, if you want to waste an hour's worth of your time, go read the comments, because there's people getting funded right now that have been waiting 7, 8, 10 months. The SBA is not calling anyone. It doesn't matter if it's $2 million or $20,000. They're in a race against the clock. I personally believe, based on what I've heard, that they're being incentivized to get as many loans out the door as they can by the end of the year so they can claim semi-victory. If, as a matter of fact, I actually think that Miss Isabel Guzman has done a fairly decent job. There's a lot of good things coming, by the way, 7A and 504 loans. There's a lot of chatter about a new program. Yeah, it's for the underserved community, but if you're among our great veterans who served this country, thank you very much. You're a minority or you're a woman, sorry, white guys, we're fucked, you know that. There is another program that they're talking about that will be along the lines of micro loans, but it was part of, or was supposed to be part of, the Build Back Better, which is fucking dead, at least for now. It'll probably regurgitate itself in the spring of next year in a smaller amount. But they're talking about micro lending programs. Nothing on the grant side yet, but I will continue to fight for the 10 grand you were promised in the CARES Act. And yes, the EIDL loan next year, an election year, where the Democrats need the help. I mean, my goodness, based on Brandon's fucking poll numbers right now, he couldn't beat me in a race, let alone the Trumpster if he decides to come back. So they're going to need to bribe as many people as possible. Nancy Pelosi's retiring. She knows the writing's on the wall. In order to hang on to the House, which is not going to happen, and probably the Senate. And if Joe Manchin decides to flip from Democrat to Republican, I think the Democrats are cooked. And that's part of the reason why, not all, that the market's coming down. It's not just Omicron, which is being way overblown, which is what they kind of do to scare the piss out of you in order to comply to whatever it is they fucking want you to do. But a lot of this Build Back Better was adding upwards of a half to 3/4 to a point of GDP. Well, that's gone, at least for now. So you're seeing all these investment firms lower their estimates, was actually, in my opinion, going to keep the Fed in a rather dovish stance. But the next year, in my opinion, is going to be tough to make money. You're in, you're out. Make it, take it. If you're going to sit there and play the index fund game, I don't think the returns on a gross standpoint are going to be that good. We already have a PE multiple that's way too high, around 26 on the S&P. It needs to be down around 20-ish in order to be fair value, or what you would consider to put new money to work. But we keep having these rolling bear markets. I know I'm getting off track. Rolling bear markets where they wreck one sector after another. Most stocks are down 50%. So much of the risk has already been eliminated from this market. But the juice, now that the Fed is going to take their foot off the gas and taper, is not going to be there. So if you add tapering by the Fed, rising interest rates, and the threat of this Omicron or whatever the fuck decides to come after that, growth, especially in the second half of next year, is going to be down. It's going to be a lot less than it was expected to be, which is why you need my help more than ever. My goodness, if you just join TrySmallBiz.com, which is going to have a guaranteed money back if you're not satisfied for whatever reason, you don't like the fact that I'm a cowboy fan or I smack Brandon in the face from time to time, you can say, hey, I want my money back. I'll give it all to you. Wish you the very best luck. And if you want to come back after, I don't know, Trump takes over in 2024 and apologize to me for being right the whole fucking time, that'll be up to you. I hope I tweaked at least a couple of you, but back on track. Don't panic. If you're a real business, you have to follow my advice that I've been saying now for, 18 months. Get a privacy release form from your senators, congressmen, and women. It's a limited power of attorney. They reach out to the SBA. They basically poke them, remind them. In many cases, they're able to re-find a lost file and get you the money in half the time that you normally have to wait, which is at least 3 months for an EIDL loan increase or reconsideration at this point. So get that privacy release form done. The big thing that's really working right now, if you're in Atlanta, Nikema Williams, Nikema Williams. She represents the Georgia 5th down the street in Atlanta. She has a business advocate that will reach out to the SBA and get you funded quickly. So after you get the privacy release form signed, you call them up. You say, I need to speak to the business advocate or the small business advocate in your office. And you're going to have to leave voicemails. Send emails that say business advocate or small business advocate and briefly explain your situation. Tell them you signed the privacy release form, but you've been waiting now for 6 months, 8 months, or whatever the hell it is. You need somebody that's a business advocate or a small business advocate in your senator or congressman or woman's office to call you back ASAP. You can also get a score.org counselor. You can call up the tier 2 supervisors. There's a new 833 number and simply say, I need you to check my file to verify I've got 6 things that I need to get my EIDL loan increase approved. Driver's license front and back PDF, avoided check front and back PDF, your board resolution, which is a 1-pager. You can get it at sba.gov. It says you had a meeting. All the officers, if it's just you, sign it. You agree to take a loan in such and such amount on such and such date. You got to get hazard insurance. I got mine at Biberk, BIBERK.com. You can get about $1 million for $50-$60 a month, depending on how many bells and whistles that you add. And then, of course, you got to have a 4506-T. However, and hopefully you stuck with me this long, over half of all YouTubers, fun fact of the day, they only make it through half of a video. So most people have already tuned out by now. They are funding people based on 2017 and or 18 tax returns. So in other words, the big formula is 2019 gross revenue minus your cost of goods or services times 2, subtract whatever amount you've already gotten. If you've still got a 4506T that's lost because you did a paper filing because the SBA and the IRS is adamant that there is no backlog now for 2020, they're asking people and funding them based on 2017 and or 18 revenue. In other words, and I have to hand it to Ms. Guzman, they're bending over backwards to get every legitimate small business owner funded, even if it means you don't have a 4506T. So try to get that, but if you don't, reach out to your loan officer or do a reconsideration. You still have time to get it in. And again, the reconsiderations are going to go on probably until the end of the first quarter. I imagine at that point, they'll get through every single one. And by the way, the reason why the polls, which one, we just did one that said 40% of you have gotten your money, 60% are still waiting. That's because most people have already gotten their money. Our views are down. No one does idle videos anymore. Nobody gives a fuck. Why? They've already gotten their money in the vast majority of cases. So yes, you might be among a few 100,000 or less that are still waiting. But if you follow all of my advice, and here's another one, get in touch with your local SBA. You can go to Google, type in your state, New York District Office dash Small Business Administration. Spell it out. So it's your state, District Office dash, spelled out, Small Business Administration. Within the first page or two, you're going to get a PDF file. It's going to have dozens of officers, directors from various departments at the SBA in your state. It'll have their name, their title, their phone number. In most cases, it's first name dot last name at sba.gov. You send them an email. You call them. Now, a lot of people, and you've seen them, God bless each and every one of our Debbie Downers. Oh, I tried that. Well, how many did you try? One. You have to call and email all of them. And you simply tell them in simple terms, I've been waiting now for 9 months, 8 months, whatever it is. I'm a legitimate business owner. Here's my account number. Here's my website. One sentence on what you do and why you need this money ASAP. Can you please point me in the right direction? The local SBA, which Ms. Guzman has repeatedly said is supposed to help you, will not fund your loan. They can't fund your loan. They can point you in the right direction. West Virginia and Mississippi, 2 of the best states where they actually copy the #1 person in Mississippi as one example. And if you don't get an answer back from the SBA within 48 hours, they tell you to call her. It's an amazing. But in places like Atlanta or New York City or Washington, D.C., dare I say, blue cities and blue states, they don't give a fuck. They're the ones that'll threaten to block you if you keep reaching out. So you want to know why this country's screwed up? You want to know why Brandon's the most unpopular president since Jimmy Carter? Because they're trying to interject a socialist utopian agenda, if I haven't offended enough of you yet, and turn us into something you might see in Greece or fucking Italy. It's not going to work. You cannot have massive entitlement programs, $50 trillion debt with an aging population and have anywhere near the comforts of home that we currently have right now. So I hope to God that Brandon moves his ass over to the middle like Slick Willie Bill Clinton used to do. You remember back in the 90s, the markets were rocking and rolling. He was cooperating with Newt Gingrich, who was a Republican. We actually had, in many cases, a budget surplus, not a massive $1 trillion plus deficit every fucking year. We don't want socialism. We want more of what I like to call a conscious capitalism in this country, where we do take care of the underserved communities, but we don't remove all the entrepreneurial spirit so that our young people just want to sit in front of a fucking television, smoke pot, and play video games all day while the state sends them their guaranteed living wage. We can't survive very long with that, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're not in the stock market, you can leave right now. Always remember, I love you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Video's going to run long. It might not. It might be the last one of the year, and I'm not doing another fucking one. BFRI, VLON, CELZ, JAGX today, and PTPI, Paul Idiot. Those 4 or 5 stocks that I've recommended repeatedly on Twitter have netted over 325% in the last 30 days. But you'll notice, even though most people, less than 1% comment or like the post, I'm starting to think I don't need to share my tips. Oh, well, what about CEI? Or what about SESN? Look, you got to have some sort of a stop loss. If I announce my stop loss, here's when we're buying, here's when we're selling, this loss, this gain, it would drive people absolutely fucking nuts. It already is. I tell you when to get in. You got to decide when you get out, whether it's a 10 or a 15% loss. What I often do is I'll sell a stock at a 5 to 7, 10% loss, wait for it to drop, let it go down another 10, 20, 30% if necessary, buy it back. So I don't put stop losses on there. That's your job, not mine. But for all you Debbie fucking downers that just want to talk about 2 or 3 stocks that are down, if you take those 5 names in the biotech sector, you more than tripled your money. And if you go way back to 2.5 months ago, MedX, you remember that stock that I'm long gone from? I traded that 5 times for 251% gains. So that one stock, 251%, all documented, no edits, no deletes. With these 4 or 5 names of over 300%, that's a plus 600% return. Even if you want to throw in half a dozen stocks that might be down a maximum of 20% that I've mentioned in the last 6 months, what is that? 600% gain minus 120. Let's knock it up to 200% losses. You're still up 400% if you bought and or sold every stock that I recommended. So I don't want to hear any more about these fucking 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 stocks that are down. I have given you guys an outrageous amount of money that was on the table, and some of you have taken advantage of it. So until next time, be on the lookout for a new channel in the new year. Again, I'm lucky if we get 10 or 15 people that like these posts. I'm not sure if any more than a couple dozen people give a shit, but I don't know about you. If someone's going to give me stock picks, even with the losses that can net me 2, 3, 400% when the market's in fucking meltdown mode, I might want to pay attention to what this guy has to say. So until next time, if I don't see you until Christmas and or the new year, always remember that I love each and every one of you in under 20 minutes. I appreciate those who made it this far. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.